What image does the word artifact conjure up? Adventurers seeking objects that belong in a museum? Or the careful attention of archaeologists excavating an ancient garbage dump? It is a term we often associated with times past and preserved history. But what were these artifacts before they were behind glass? When they were in the hands of real people? Before they were mementos, and when they were just part of everyday life, meant to be used? Maybe it's time we start thinking about the word a little differently and looking at the objects around us a little more closely. Let's take a deeper look. This is ASU. Artifacts are material or digital objects that have been crafted by humans, which can be manipulated, modified, and used to achieve a goal or purpose. This is the vision that most people have for what designers do, that they create things. Books and posters, screwdrivers, spatulas, chairs and tables, websites and more. There are a number of professions devoted to the creation of artifacts, and even more for which designing artifacts is one part of a whole set of designerly activities that they engage in. Educators, for example. These professions often work with raw materials in the natural world and engineer them to meet the needs of users using a range of tools depending on the materials they're working with. These tools can be those both for physical and digital manipulation of the elements that they're working with. These designers are often trained in professional schools such as in engineering, graphic design, product design, architecture, and more. The kinds of knowledge these designers have is an amalgamation of knowledge of the materials and tools combined with an understanding of the people who will be using their creations. A key component is the development of a sense of the aesthetic, of the relationship form to function. Designers in this space combine their skills at visualizing and crafting with materials with their knowledge of their audience to create sketches and other representations to generate original ideas. They iterate on these ideas to create their final designs. If we take the domain of cooking, the end product of cooking, the dish, is an artifact created for a purpose, nourishment or pleasure. But there are a range of other artifacts that play critical roles in cooking, such as the utensils, recipe books or blogs, the architecture of the kitchen, and much, much more. These artifacts or tools have been intentionally designed for a specific purpose, such as slicing a vegetable a certain way or checking the temperature of a piece of meat in an oven, and so on. Artifacts play a critical role in education as well, ranging from classroom design to the furniture in the room, from posters on walls to textbooks on the shelves, from paper and pencil tests to software that keep track of student performance. The list goes on. These artifacts are sometimes designed by individuals who may not have formal training in design, such as the student teacher selecting posters for the classroom, to artifacts that are designed by large teams of people, such as the writing, testing, and publication of textbooks. And these artifacts, in many ways, instantiate deeper ideas about the nature and role of education. One of the most important artifacts that play a key role in education are tests. These can be designed for a specific assessment need by a teacher, or may be created by a testing service to be used across multiple schools. Much like the domain of cooking, a range of important artifacts play a critical role in creating a test. For example, each test is created of smaller artifacts, single test questions. Test developers design these test questions intentionally for specific purposes and test them with users. In this case, students taking practice tests. According to some estimates, test developers spend around $1 million to develop a single test question on the SAT. Archaeologists can only imagine people interacting with the artifacts they uncover, and they never get to hear what the original users thought of the objects. Whether the long ago owner of a hand axe had praise or complaint for the design is left up to historians to wonder about. But today's designers can see how the artifacts they create are used and take their observations along with feedback from the users to better craft the next generation. So the artifacts we are handling To the next millennium's archaeologists might be just as culturally distant from them as long ago people's tools are to us. They'll be imbued with the thoughtful intentionality of today's designers to meet specific needs and purposes. This was ASU. Thanks for watching.